First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Greg Nibley. This is Fox 12 Now. Appreciate you joining us wherever you're watching. You know, we get to talk about a lot of really different subjects here on this show. We live stream from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. That's what you're seeing behind me. I'm here at the digital desk. But right now, I want to talk about something that's happening tomorrow, depending on when you're watching. So tomorrow being July 29th, which is World Tiger Day. Yes, World Tiger Day, which is a celebration of the conservation efforts around the world to help maintain tiger populations and increase them actually in the wild. And zoos play a big role in that. And I actually spoke to Megan Hagedorn, who is the lead tiger keeper for the Oregon Zoo earlier today about that. We're going to play that interview here talking about the Oregon Zoo's efforts to help with that, some of the celebrations that they're going to be having out there on July 29th. And also, I just asked Megan how she ended up with such an amazing title as lead tiger keeper. That's like the best business card title you could ever have. So we talk about that and a lot more. Let's go ahead and go to it right now.
So I'm part of the marine life staff. So I know you got to talk to Nicole like a few days ago or weeks ago. And our marine life area, strangely enough, also encompasses tiger and red panda. And so I was brought up a marine mammal person, and that was kind of my wheelhouse with school and growing up and here at the zoo. And just because proximity, I've gotten to learn about tigers for the past 10 years here. And they've like sneakily become like my favorite thing. So I didn't know I would be such a land dweller fan of a critter, but so I've been working with Bernie ever since she's been here now, Bernadette. She came in early 2019 and has just seen her transition into this space, gotten to know her and her personality and her behaviors. And now I'm lead her lead keeper and help navigate that space down there.
I mean, that's such an interesting transition going from marine life to tiger keeper. You know, I mean, did you ever anticipate anything like that happening?
Absolutely not. When you're like naive and out of college and you're just like, this is my degrees and this is what I'm going to do. And it all function around the ocean at that time. So I'm so grateful for it. I started here as the late keeper. So our nighttime keeper gets to see a little bit of everybody. And at that time we did have different tigers, and they were a sweet duo that I got to know them too. And they really stole my heart. And I'm really glad I get to take care of them now. And I've had a big change of plans, change of heart with them. Yeah.
Well, I think just something you brought up there, you know, they're sweethearts, or, you know, getting to know the tigers. And I think from an outside perspective, you see tigers like, okay, killing machine. But obviously, you know, there's personalities involved. Like, what is a tiger like to get to know?
It's I would liken them to people in the way that everybody's really different. And so I started out with an older male here. He was super chill. He had his routine. He liked the cave. He was set. These two girls came in and they were really feisty. And even though they were sisters, they couldn't be more different. So Eloise was the sister who came, and she was super shy and she took a little bit extra time. Bernadette has always been the alpha and in charge. And so she is a sassy girl. She's a big personality. And I think that's the pleasure of getting to work with her, is to get those wins with her, because you have to earn them. But once you do, then it's really rewarding.
And do they develop, you know, attachments? Obviously, they know who you are, you know, when you're showing up. Like, what's that kind of interaction like?
They definitely know their keepers. And so Bernadette's pretty patient. This was definitely trial and error and earned again, but she used to be really shy. We used to not be able to have more than one person in one space at a time. And now we can we practice painting with her. We do medical behavior training with her, and there can be 2, 3, 4 people around, and she's good with it. So it just really was like a build of trust. But yeah, so she knows people. Me personally, because I am in that space a lot, I close her in a lot, so she knows it's coming when I'm around. So I have to earn her love back. But that's fun too, because then I get to give her snacks to apologize at the end, because she'd rather be outside hanging around during the day. So a quick clean and toy reset. She loves toys, so she loves it when we reset them. She just doesn't know it at the time.
Yeah, that sounds kind of like my dog.
Yeah.
I have to buy his love all the time.
Yes.
So you know, I guess on a day-to-day basis, just to talk about, you know, being a tiger keeper, you know, some of the things there, cleaning the tiger, resetting the toys, but what goes into that? What is the tiger's day like?
That's a big question, I guess. So Bernie's awesome, and she does so much here, and we're lucky to work so closely with like our vet staff. So she has training really regularly that involves her lining up in certain positions, like getting close to us. So we are never in a habitat with her or sharing that space with her, but we do work between a fence where we're able to like touch her and shave her and poke her and do things like that. And so she gets excited about that work because she gets snacks for it. So she's happy to work for food. So she'll line up in areas. We just do a lot of the practice of like shaving and blood draws and things like that. So even though we don't need to collect those things every day, it's never a scary procedure when it has to happen. Like it's just, she's got it in the bank. And so she knows she's coming. She knows she's going to get rewarded for it. And so that's a lot of our morning is kind of relationship building, going through those things, just kind of quick checkouts to make sure that she's happy and healthy. And then pretty much after that, I love to do that enrichment challenge because like, again, how people are different. All tigers are a little different because she's so toy driven and enrichment driven. She loves spices and perfumes and things like that. We get to put all those puzzles together throughout the day. And that's one of my favorite parts. I love doing that.
That's fantastic. Well, it is, World Tiger Day is this weekend. And depending on when people are watching, July 29th, World Tiger Day. So tell us about what World Tiger Day is.
So I just get to brag about my favorite buddy behind me that day. So I'll be on grounds with other keeper staff will be here. And we have a couple of events planned throughout the day. I'll be out front. So I'm just hoping to talk to people all day long. That's one of my favorite things to do is get to share why she's so cool and like everything she can do. So we're going to have some of her enrichment items. So I'll bring out those favorites so people can check those out, maybe be inspired to try it with their cats or pets at home. And then we have a special feed plan. She's going to get a whole carcass during the day. It's not something she gets regularly. It's kind of like a once a month treat and she loves it. So I'm glad that on this day where hopefully we have a lot of eyes on it, we get to see that pure joy coming from Bernadette.
What is the carcass of?
I believe it's a lamb. It changes up. She can sometimes get different things, but I think she's getting a lamb tomorrow on Saturday.
Big day.
Big day.
Well, for the the international awareness about tigers, let's talk about that and the important things too that I know you're doing there at the zoo, but just to explain to people, what are some of the things you're doing to help, sustain tigers?
Sure. So zoos do a lot of work in general. So Bernadette is part, and her sister, who is here, Eloise, they're part of a program called the SSP, and that's the Species Survival Plan. And so that has to do with it's kind of a big dating game, like genetics and matching them up, like personalities, what'll work, what won't. And that's how they oversee tigers and how they move and how they just decide if they're going to have families and where they're going to go. And so obviously Bernadette is in the prime of her life. She's going to be 7 this coming fall. So she's a good breeding age for that. So with her sister. And so it's possible in the future that they find the right boyfriend, she might head out. And so that program helps tiger numbers in general. And so that helps us here. Those tigers can also be out in different aspects of the world and different facilities. Other programs that we could use internationally. So I'm really excited. On Saturday, we have someone named Kim Boyle. She'll be on grounds and she is the president for Trees for Tigers. And so she used to volunteer here at the zoo, but she also does that work overseas where she helps do habitat restoration. So the forests and in the regions, and it's a hard time over there. So between just the political climate that part of the world is facing and just development and people in general, so that she can talk about the challenges that they face. And so globally, what people can do if they want to help at home and learn more about tigers and really explore their love for tigers is think about their own paper consumption in that way. And so just to kind of cut back on that. So those habitats are being maintained the best we can. And so you'll have restoration options and then just preservation options as well.
Something you mentioned there, because that's great, and that's something I didn't think about. With the paper consumption, Trees for Tigers, that makes sense. Saying that, talking about the environment and what they could be losing. Going back to one other thing you mentioned, though, talking about the tiger, I guess, can you tell what kind of tiger is Bernadette?
Bernadette's an Amur tiger.
Amur tiger.
And so like when you hear different regions, so I feel like historically you hear a lot about like Siberian tigers. And so Siberia, just for regionally, so I'll have a little map and I'm bringing it intentionally just to talk to people about the region and where she is. So it's just the range and where she's found. And so instead of just like all of Siberia and everything there, she just has her own little specific region of where she is. So she's still in that thread of tigers and that large family, but just that's why her name. That's why you hear Amur tiger nowadays more than Siberian tigers.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Thank you for explaining that. I was curious what that meant. Something else, you mentioned matching the tigers up.
Yes.
Seeing who works. So is there like a big tiger database where you all keep notes of?
There is. There's
feisty. Not sure if this would work.
Exactly. So there is a
Tinder for tigers, or
pretty much. There's like dating profiles. I just want to get her little picture set up. But there is, I want to say one person, but it's so much bigger than that. But there is a person who is the SSP, like coordinator for tigers. And so we all do our part with like entering in that feedback in the database. We do that for other animals that might come up as like being interested, as being partners. And so we do send that out there. If like, not that we would have concerns, but like, yeah, behavior things. Bernie's a sure of herself girl. And so if whoever's getting her needs to know that about her. And so we just put that out there. And then because she is trained to do all of those blood procedures, we do know about her genetics. We know where she came from. We know her parents. And so with that strong background, we do have a good idea of where she would be a good fit or who she would be a strong match with.
That's cool. I think that's great. Obviously good for, the continuation of the lines and everything like that. But that's fascinating. It's
very intricate. I think people, I think the inner workings of like some zoos of like how animals move around and where they go. There's just so much more to it, right? And besides, I have space, things like that. So So we know that having females, that might be that is a future for them, that we might see a little bit more movement. Since we had an old man before, the likelihood of him going anywhere was pretty low. And so now that we have had healthy females, and Eloise went out for the same reason. So she's gone out to a different place. So she's not quite matched yet, but because Bernie was so dominant, they wanted Eloise to kind of be her own tiger for a minute and get used to being in those different habitats. And then eventually they'll probably go their separate ways.
I want to remind everybody too, World Tiger Day, you just mentioned all the cool things you're going to be doing there, a carcass, lots of stuff to check out there. But for you, being the tiger keeper, you're there all the time. You see all the inner workings, some of the traits. For somebody in generally who say is going to the Oregon Zoo and they go to the tiger exhibit and they're taking a look, what's something secret that they could be looking out for that maybe an ordinary person wouldn't think about?
I would look at her enrichment items, number one, because I'm sure a lot of people, that could be anything. That could be like paper bags. And I think right now she has a plastic kiddie pool out there. And I think sometimes people are like, what's happening? Like, what's going on? And that can be different things. So we want to, really cater her different senses. So some things we want her to lick on, some things we want her to destroy. And so some things go in there knowing good and well they're going to get destroyed. And we want that, and that's fun. She loves her pool. I love to see her swim. That's just good, just kind of PT for her, right? Physical therapy. And it helps her exercise. She calls out a lot. And I think people ask about that a lot. So if we see it in person, I'll talk to you about it. But there's a lot of times when we're in holding and she's calling out on exhibit and the public's not sure what's happening or like why she's doing it. She is a vocal girl and she has the feels a lot, but a lot of times it's because we're leaving the area behind. And so when I leave the kitchen, she's on exhibit calling out because I'm leaving. And so I feel like they don't see that connection. And so it'd be interesting to be on that other side all day while a keeper's still back there doing things and seeing all those adjustments and help explain that to the public too.
Oh, that's fascinating. Well, I'm so excited. I really have to get out to the zoo. Now I really want to go see the tigers and World Tiger Day on July 29th. But really, anytime, go out and support what you're doing. It's just so cool. Any final thing that you want to let people know about if they're going to be coming out there for World Tiger Day?
Oh, just yeah, come see us. I'm going to bring out all her favorite toys, so you get to kind of see the behind the scenes, really like out front. I'll let you. We can. She's got a giant pickle. I feel like that's a fan favorite when she's walking around with this giant pickle. We'll bring it out. We'll have it. So I think it's pretty much her toy box. I just get to talk to everybody. I've got some paw print examples so they can just see how big she is. She's a big girl. She's a powerful girl, and I just can't wait to brag about her all day.
Wait, how big is she?
She's about 250 pounds. If she stands up, she's probably about 7 feet tall without her tail. So she's probably close to 9.5 feet, like long from nose to tail.
Wow. Yeah. That is a big girl. That's a big tiger.
She's a big tiger.
Well, Megan, thank you very much, for joining me to talk about this. I think it's just so interesting, your progression, what we talked about at the beginning, going from the Marine Tigers to lead tiger keeper, which is the best business card ever. And talking about Tiger Day. Really appreciate you being here with us. Thanks so much.
Yes. Yeah. Thanks for shining light on this. We can't wait to see everybody.
All right, there we go. So again, really fascinating learning about World Tiger Day. So check that out at the Oregon Zoo. But obviously, they're doing a lot of work every single day out there supporting tigers. And continuing on here, I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now. If this is your first time watching, thank you for joining. Thanks for finding the show. We live stream here from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom every single weekday at 1 p.m. Pacific. That's when we start. And then we have all kinds of content going on throughout the day. If there's breaking news, we are here to cover that. If it's outside of our regular newscasts, we're off at 1 p.m. We go back on at 4 p.m. Between those hours, this is where you come. If there's something breaking, we will be here. We'll let you know what's going on, bring you the information as soon as we get it. We have our reporters out there on the scene for anything that's happening. But we also do a lot of other feature stories as well, and interviews, things like that, talking about the Oregon Zoo. Over this last week, we spoke to Channing Frye about former trailblazer Channing Frye about his wine. We've talked to a lot of different people here on this show, so many for you to check out. You can see all of those on our YouTube channel, Fox 12 Oregon. So you can go there and take a look at all the different interviews that we've had. We're, of course, on our apps as well. So a lot of places to catch us: YouTube, Facebook, our apps, the website. Certainly a lot of things that you can check out with that as well. And if you have an idea for a segment, or you think something needs to be covered, or there's a news story you want to find out more about, or an interview you want to hear, or you want to be interviewed, let me know. Send me an email. So the email address is right there, fox12now@kptv.com. Send it. That will go to me. I will reply to you. We'll see if something works, or maybe you know of a big event that needs coverage, because I know there's lots of things going on, and it's hard for us to know everything. That's why we rely on you. So if you know of something that's really should be getting some coverage, or an event coming up that you want to attend, that you want to know more about, all that stuff, let us know, and we will 100% take a look at what you send in. So appreciate that, and thank you everybody for joining us here again. This is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler signing off for right now. Unless some breaking news happens here in the next hour or so, I will talk to you on Monday with more Fox 12 Now.